Hello, 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 and welcome to my stream. It's Friday night, and we are in my kitchen. I'm set up on my kitchen counter here because we're going to do some mad scientist stuff. I am your friendly neighborhood mad scientist, and tonight we're working on the IRL cam. So the IRL cam is my Nikon Z6 DSLR, and what I'm doing is I'm building a full little Windows 11 computer around it so that I can go out into the real world. That's it. Everyone knows what IRL means, in real life, right? Anyway, IRL, so I can go out into the real world and do live streaming with a professional camera and maybe a second webcam attached to it so that you can see my face while I'm filming whatever I'm filming, and shoot it live and stream it live. And I want to use OBS. I want to have all my layers like this cool layer that goes around the camera here. I want to use all the stuff that I normally use in OBS. Now I won't be streaming a game, so I won't be, doing. This is a tiny little computer, and it has limitations. Let me see if I can hold this up without messing up any cables. So this here in my hand is the computer. This thing is it's a little mini computer. It's got an HDMI cable connected to it right now. It's got a couple USB cables. That's pretty much it. Put that back down on the table and not break stuff. Okay, we're trying not to break stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, I didn't break my stream. Okay. Now, see if I can show you this. So last time in my living room, we made this bracket here. This bracket is attached to a little 10-inch monitor that's on my DSLR. I can't really show you. Let's see. Well, let me turn the camera back around this way. So this monitor, I'm not using this monitor tonight. I am streaming from the IRL cam because I'm testing it, and that's what's down in the, I can't see what I'm doing. So down in the left-hand corner of the screen is the Windows Task Manager, I'm recording the stream, and so I can also record my CPU usage and I want to see the performance of this little computer as I'm streaming in real time, and I can, if I have a problem, I can play this back later and look at the recorded data. Anyway, so this monitor has it's a tilt. I can tilt. I can let's see if I can turn it. Let's see. So there's the touchscreen. It turns, and I might need to tighten this up later. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, and then we're just gonna I'll just leave it tilted like that. That's fine. Let me go back to where I am here. Okay, so let me zoom out. Let me switch to. Now, this is an example of, now tonight I would be using the touchscreen, but tonight I'm hooked up to, I can't see this. It would be hard for me to work this right now. So right now I have this little tiny computer connected to my Dell monitor that's on my kitchen counter, and I'm using my just wireless keyboard and trackpad. So that's also connected to this tiny little computer that I just showed you. So my big PC is upstairs, and it's I think it's off right now. But anyway, let's switch the scene in OBS. Okay, So now we're looking at my DSLR camera, and my webcam is in the little inset window. Let's see. No problem. So now let's zoom out. I got a zoom lens on the DSLR, so I can just zoom out and show you what's going on here. So this is my kitchen counter, and I have my Dell monitor just set up so I can use OBS and hi, and then okay, so that's what's going on with that, and then down here on my counter is my setup. I have a magnifying LED light. This has a big magnifier in the top. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in on my workspace so that we can see close up what I'm doing. So I'm using this, this is my Hakko soldering station. I really like this thing. I've had it for years. It's really cool. It's got so here's the power supply, and then you can dial in the temperature you want if you need some exact temperature for working on certain electronic things. And then I just set that over here. And then this is the base for the soldering iron, and this is a nice iron, and you can put different tips on it. And then this is a solder cleaner, and basically what you do is you just go like that, and it cleans off the tip for you. This is some kind of metal stuff in here. It's just a really neat. It's a really handy thing. And this is pretty cheap, and you can take this out and just kind of mix it up, and you can toss out all the little. Eventually, you'll have a bunch of little metal things in here, and it comes apart, and you can just dump it out. So anyway, that's what we're doing with that. I got my basic, I tried to get out everything that we would need tonight. I got my little electronic parts. I got my multi-tester. I got some tools. Let's focus on the. So I'm building this IRL CAM, and obviously the little computer needs some kind of power supply. Now, not only does the computer need a power supply, but it is going to power some USB stuff. It needs to power the capture card for the DSLR. It needs to power a second webcam. It needs to power, the touchscreen monitor needs power. Now that's powered by USB. So that's a USB power source coming back to the computer. And I'm going to have to figure out if this little computer can handle all of the USB power requirements, because I'm not sure if it's going to be able to power everything through USB. So what I might need to do is I might need to have two different voltage regulators, one for 5 volts USB power and one for 12 volts DC power, which is what the little computer uses. So the little computer uses regulated 12 volts DC, and USB, all USB is standard 5 volt. So that's the 5 volt USB power is pretty easy. They sell all kinds of different little regulated 5 volts power supplies. You can get, if you have a golf cart, golf carts run on 12 volts, and typically, and you can get a little USB adapter to power your, if you want to charge your phone or anything like that from your golf cart. You can get all that stuff. It's pretty standard. Now for a car, they mostly sell cigarette lighter adapters, and this, I'm not going to obviously have a cigarette lighter, so I need something that I can directly wire to my battery pack. Now, for years I built drones. I'm not really building drones so much anymore because the FAA has pretty much the new FAA regulations that are going to take place in 2023 will effectively kill hobbyists from building drones unless you build really teeny tiny little tiny drones that weigh 250 grams or less. It's basically killed the hobby as far as building your own drones in most classes. I mean, you can still build certain things, but that's a whole long story I don't want to get into right now. But I do have a ton of electronic parts and wires and batteries and different regulators and all kinds of stuff for building drones. So I should be able to build a nice little power supply for this IRL CAM project. One of the things about building drones is you want to, they need to be light. They need to be as light as possible because they'll fly longer. The lighter you make your drone, the more efficient it can be as far as staying in the air. And also, everything you do with power needs to be super efficient. So I've been using voltage regulators that are typically 95 to 99% efficient, meaning they don't waste power converting one voltage to another. Now, typically, when you have, let's say, a laptop power supply that you plug into the wall and then it converts voltage to what your laptop needs to charge the internal batteries in your laptop, typically those are very inefficient because no one's trying to spend a bunch of money to make things efficient when you're plugged into the wall. You're using full 110 volt current out of the wall, and you know, if you waste a little heat or a little energy converting that voltage to the 9 volts or 12 volts or whatever your laptop needs to charge, most manufacturers aren't really going to be concerned with making a super efficient power supply. But what I'm doing is I'm going to be walking around. I'm going to have a battery pack hanging on my waist or in a backpack or in a shoulder bag or whatever. I really don't want to wear a backpack. I want to have everything either attached to my waist or in a shoulder bag. But anyway, I don't want to carry around a bunch of weight. I want to use the smallest battery possible. I want to power this computer for a couple hours. And I want my voltage regulator to efficiently manage the voltage and be very efficient, so I'm not killing the battery right away. Now, the little boards that I've found, the little modules and boards and electronic components that I've found for drones happen to be very efficient because you want your drone to fly as long as possible, and so people have done the research and they've made the components very efficient. And the other thing that's coming into play here is electric cars. Now, the more efficient you make the voltage transfer system for your electric car, the further the car is going to go. So a lot of research has been done on lithium batteries and voltage systems, and converting the voltage from the lithium battery to the voltage that the motors in your electric car need. And so a lot of cool things have been done in just the past 5 years. There have been a lot of advances in electronics and technology. And I tried to take advantage of all this stuff when I was building drones, but so let's see what we got here tonight. Tonight we have a little voltage regulator. And this voltage regulator is super efficient. This is made by Polulu, P-O-L-U-L-U, and they make really cool little things. And this is a very small and very lightweight 12-volt regulator. It will accept higher voltage, so I'm going to put 24 volts into it. I have a 24-volt lithium pack that I use for drones. All right. Normally, the headers go in with the long pins facing down, so then you can just plug the whole circuit board, the little mini circuit board, into a larger component that has pin headers. But we're not going to do that tonight. I'm going to solder them in the other way around. I'm going to solder them with the long pins up, because then I have some connectors that will attach to the pins. So these will clip in, and then I have connectors for the pins. Now, I made these up. So I made up a couple of these header connectors ahead of time. I have little pieces of wood to use for spacers. I do that a lot. And also, you can see that this piece of wood here I have on my countertop. You can see I've soldered on it a lot, because you can see all the little burn marks. But that protects my counter, so I don't fuck up my counter when I'm soldering little wires and stuff. So I think we're gonna. So let's see. Let's move these out of the way. Let's put this here. Let's put this. How do we want this? We want this pointing up. Let's do. I think that's good. All right, let's try to get a little solder here. Let's see if we can do one of these. Let's see if that's where we want it. You zoom out. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So now, okay. So now we should be able to. Now I should be able to solder the rest. Okay. All right, so there's one. And now we're going to do the second one. All right, first, see this right. Make sure it turns around so I can get to it from the angle. Let's see if we can come in here. Oh, look at that. It's pretty small, just finger reference. Let's do those. See the outside one. And now I want to check the position. I want to make sure these are going to be lined up correctly. So I want to make sure they're lined up. I want to make sure the headers are lined up because we're going to be putting the connectors, and I don't want the connectors to. I want the connectors all to fit on here properly. So I just want to make sure that's lined up right before I solder the rest of the pins. So I think that looks good. So let's solder the rest of the pins. This isn't really a lesson on how to solder, but it's a skill that you should learn if you're going to be building anything electronic. And you really need to get to the point where you're comfortable that your solder joint is good without leaving the soldering iron on any joint for a long period of time, because you don't want to transfer all the heat into the electronics. You will kill the electronics on the board if you sit there and keep the heat on the connector forever. So you really want to get in and get out, and you really want to ensure that your solder connections are good. So here we go. Those look pretty good. Those look pretty good for what we're doing. Now, you see there are labels here, and that's going to tell us what we're doing. So starting from the right, the V out pins, those are both connected together. The V out is going to be for our power supply for our computer. Now we're going to use both wires, so we don't have any kind of problem with amperage or overheating or anything like that. Now there's the next, from the right, the next 4 pins are ground pins. So 2 of those are going to be for our output, and then 2 of them are going to be for our input. Those are all connected together. All ground wires are connected together. And then the V in is going to be our 24 volts in from our drone battery. The other pins I'm probably not going to use. They are for extra features, extra little features and indicators that this board can do. This board can do some cool things. It can go into standby mode. It can do a bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to use any of that. Although those are some cool features. I just want a regulated power supply to power the computer. So now on the outside here, put my little wood strips off to the side. Let's zoom out. Okay. Now, I have created some headers. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug these in now, and I'm going to look at the bottom and make sure that my V in is the 3rd wire in. So we're going to put this one here, and then I have a second one for the power in, and that's the 3rd wire in. So we're going to put this here. And then we've got 2 grounds and power out. So I actually made a connector earlier tonight with with 2 grounds and a red. So those will go on here like this. That just plugs in there. Actually, let's do the back one first. And then we'll take this and we'll put this one in like that. Now we have our circuit board and we have some things here. So let's group these where they're going. So this is going out. I mean, this is our power out to our mini computer. So we've got 2 grounds and 2 positive wires going out, and then we've got, just make sure I have that right. Yeah, so then we have 2 reds and 2 blacks in. So we've got 2 reds and 2 blacks out, 2 reds and 2 blacks in. That's fairly simple. Now, these are not going to go anywhere. So what we're going to do is, well, we don't need to do that yet. Okay, so it's probably too much, but whatever, it's fine. I'm just going to get a little tape here. And we're going to just tape that in a group. Now, I was going to say, eventually, these separate connectors, they're after I get this, let me zoom out a little bit so we're not totally confused about what's going on here. Okay, so after I get this exactly the way I want it, I'm going to take some super glue and I'm going to glue all 4 of these black connectors together. I'll put a little bit in the seam here. I'll put a little bit in the seam between here. So then what it'll do is it'll make one big connector. So it'll be one solid black connector that will connect to all of the pins, and I won't have to worry about one of them coming out and all of that kind of stuff. But I'll do that later, because what if I have something wrong and I want to change something? Now this is, so now I can easily look at the bottom here and I can see that this side is the power out and this side is the power in. So that's easy, right? So, okay. So now we're going to go down here, and now this is going to go in a little, tiny project box. So I don't, this is all going to be inside of a little box, but right now we're just building this to test it. So I'm going to just clip off some wires here. Okay. Put those over there. Actually, we'll put these over here. All right, that's fine. And then this side, we'll do the same thing. Not a problem. I don't want a whole bunch of wire now. The output, okay, so this side is the output, and let's see, let me actually zoom out a little more here. Okay, so this side's the output, and what I have here is I bought on Amazon, it's really easy to get these connectors. This is the connector that the little computer uses. I can show you. It's right there. Now this is not a right angle connector. I wanted a right angle connector, so I got one of those. Now this is very important. this connector, and let's zoom in. This connector, it's plus and minus, but is the outside plus and the inside minus, or is the inside plus and the outside minus? Well, we don't know. Now I know what the computer uses. Now the computer needs the center to be positive and the outside to be negative, and that's how it is most of the time. But I'm not going to trust, and these wires come with a red and a black, but I'm not going to trust that they wired it up the right way and blow up my little computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure, we're going to test this with the meter. Let me get this out of the way. Put these over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, let's just use something heavy like this. You just hold those down. I'm going to spread these apart here like that. And then I'm going to get my meter. I'm breaking stuff. Let's zoom out. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Does this work? How about if we go like this? Does that work? Does that work for you? What we're going to do is we're going to okay. Yeah, that's my reminder to turn this thing off, because if I don't, it'll just go dead. Now let's try the positive lead and outside. And let's try inside. Oops. Let's try inside. Okay. All right, so that's definitely a connection. And ground is not. So ground should be outside. Okay, so basically I just wanted to make sure that the colors were correct. So that's it for that. We're going to turn the meter off. So I just removed a little insulation from the wire ends, and now we're going to attach the two reds to the red and the two blacks to the black. So what I usually do is, and the reason I have burn marks all over this thing is, what I usually do is I do this. And there's all kinds of little tools you can get to do this and all of that, and they're all nice, but you know, there's no wrong or right way to do any of this stuff. If it works, whatever works for you works. And oh, and I am forgetting something. Yes, before I do that, let me go get some. Oh, I have some right here. Never mind. This is heat shrink tubing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little piece here. And we're going to cut another little piece. Okay. And we're going to tape this up. And we're going to put the, here, let me, okay, so then we're just going to put the heat shrink tubing all the way down there. So it's out of the way. Then we're going to tape this down. I'm going to tape this down like that. And then we're going to take the other piece and we're going to tape this down. And we're just going to tape it down right on top of the other wire. So we've got, there's what we got. Simple, right? Let's move, let me see if I can, okay. Then we're just going to take our soldering iron. Oh, okay. Okay. There you go. Now we're going to save this piece of tape over here, save this piece of tape over here, and we're going to take our little heat shrink tubing, and let me get my lighter. And we're just going to that's it, you're done. Real quick, obviously you don't want to burn up the frickin' thing. And you're good. And now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Now we're going to put these together. Piece of heat shrink wires. Alright, so I got one, take this down. I got the other one. Let's see, where are we here? And soldering iron. Clean tip. All right. Good. Nice clean joint. And then take the tape off. And remove our heat shrink tubing. And that should be good. And again, this is just a temporary. This isn't what the finished product is going to be. The finished product is inside of a little plastic case or something. And I'm going to have to go get a plastic case and figure out. I need to figure out what size plastic case I need and all of that stuff. So right now this is just a test, and I have a nice long cable. If I need to cut this down, I can. If I want a shorter one, I can cut this down and make it the right length. But for now, I just wanted it long. So I've got the correct connector for to power the computer, and we got our little. So here's what we got so far. Now we just need the power in. So we need the connector for the power in. So basically we're going to do a very similar thing here. I have this is an XT6D connector. This is a very standard. This is a pretty standard drone connector. So it's an XT6D and it's labeled plus on this side and minus on this side, and it's shaped so you cannot plug it in the wrong way. It's pretty handy. It's a pretty handy connector. And so yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Now I need a. So we're going to use some. Let's see. Zoom out. All right. So I got some wire. I got some reasonably heavy duty wire, so we don't have to worry about the battery side getting hot or not having enough, not being able to deliver enough amps to the power supply. So I'm going to cut a piece of that. Let's see, where am I cut? Okay. So we're going to make a little thing here, and I'll make this longer than it needs to be so I can cut it shorter later if I want. So there's our red wire. Let's get some black. Actually, I want them the same length, so hold on. Let me take this. Black. All right, so we got black wires. I mean, black and red. Now I'm going to scrub some insulation. That's fine. All right, now we're going to make sure that we put the red in the plus. And we'll just solder that up. Let's zoom in on this. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. That's correct. Now let's flip it over and do the ground side. That. Oops. Went out just a tiny bit. Right back. Excellent. A little more solder now. There we go. Okay. Now that's hot. That got pretty hot, so we're going to let that cool off for just a second, and I'm going to go cut some, I need to cut a couple pieces of heat shrink tubing. So I'll be right back. Give me this size, I think. Should do it. I think. If not, it's going to be this size. Okay. Maybe that size. I see the number. Okay. Different colors, too. So I've got red. Let's see if this fits over the red. It does. And then we'll just cut a piece of black. Okay. So there's our heat shrink, and then we just need to heat shrink it. Okay. And then you can actually, where's my paper towel? All right, fine, I'll just use my shirt. Not the cleanest job in the world, but whatever, man, it's good enough. Okay, so now we have a power connector. We now have a power connector, and now we're going to attach it to the other side of our voltage regulator. Let's see. No problem. Okay. And solder is hot. Subpar player. I guess I missed you. I see you came into the chat. Sorry, man. I guess I missed you. I don't know if you're still there, man, but thanks for coming in anyway. Sorry I missed you. I might have been upstairs or something. We're gonna. So I save these little pieces of tape and reuse them multiple times because that's just the easiest thing to do. So yeah, I need some Just do this. Heat shrink tubing on there. We are stripping wires. Okay. Okay, so here's our little voltage regulator. Let me zoom out. Okay, so here's our voltage regulator, and here's our two power wires in, and we're just gonna put this over here like this. We're gonna actually go like that, and then we'll just put it there like that. And I got my heat shrink tubing ready to go. So then just go like this. What's it doing here? There we go. I'm looking at my CPU. I just had a oh, subpar player. What's the current project? Okay, so I guess you missed the beginning. So I'm building a this is a voltage regulator. Where's the? Let me zoom out. So this is a voltage regulator for my IRL CAM. This is a 12-volt regulator that accepts DC in up to 24 volts or 25 volts, I think. So I'm going to use a 24-volt lithium drone battery, and then I'm going to create a regulated 12-volt supply for my to power my little my mini computer for my IRL CAM. So that's what we're doing. So just a little heat shrink tubing there. Sounds hella complicated, but I'm also hammered. That's fine, man. It's Friday night. That's what's up. I'm seriously hoping that when I fire this up, that when I connect it, we're going to connect it in just a minute, and I'm hoping that it's not going to blow up. So I'm hoping that I've done everything right, and I've got all the wires in the right order, and all that good stuff. So stay tuned another maybe 15 minutes, and we'll see if we blow something up. I mean, I honestly hope I don't blow anything up, but you never know, man. Sometimes I get things wrong, but I think I've done a pretty good job here tonight. All right, so this is going to go. This is going to go down here like this. I'll be here, my dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate your support, man. I don't get a lot of people in the chat, which is kind of weird, because I don't know. I would love to. I'd love to tell people. I'd love to, you know. I want to share all this stuff I'm doing. I want to share how to do all this stuff. I mean, I think maybe when I go out into the world and I start doing live streams, then people will be like, "Oh, wow, that's really cool. How'd you do that?" And then I could be like, "Oh, well, just refer back to any of the dozen VODs that I made, then you can learn all about it," or something. I don't know. We'll see. Then again, I mean, this is kind of a weird, it's not, I'm sure it's not the most sought after thing in the world, so it's fine. I'm enjoying doing it, so all right, we're gonna let's zoom in here and get some solder going on this little connection. There we go. That's a nice clean solder joint. I get like 3 chatters, it's pretty normal. Do you have a YouTube or a TikTok? I do have a YouTube channel. I probably need to link more of that. And I have a TikTok, I've never used it. I signed up for TikTok years ago. I don't know, man. I want to go out. So my whole goal here is to build this IRL cam so I can go out and not be in front of my computer. I can be out. I want to be out in the real world, and I want to interview people and go to restaurants and do different things. Okay, so I just want a little bit of that. Okay, let's go this. Okay, that should be good enough. Okay. All right, let's review what we got here. Let me zoom out. Okay. We've got our power in from a drone battery. Now this is a very standard drone battery connector. XT60 is really popular. I can get all kinds of different sizes of drone batteries. I can try a bunch of different size drone batteries. Maybe a smaller one will last 2 hours, and maybe then I can use a bigger one if I want to go for 4 hours. This gives me a huge range of different batteries that I can try for this project. Subpart Player says, I'd start making clips for YouTube Shorts and TikToks. Twitch is pretty ass for discoverability. Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that. So we've got our drone battery in. Then I have this little voltage regulator that's a custom-made voltage regulator made by Polulu. They make really cool stuff. This voltage regulator is 95 to 99% efficient at converting DC voltages, so I won't lose a lot of power. I won't lose hardly any battery power doing the conversion. Unlike most of your laptop power supplies, you're using up, you're wasting a bunch of energy coming out of the wall in order to charge your laptop. And that's why those things get super hot too, because they're just inefficient at doing the voltage conversion. So then I've got a long, like, I don't know, 6-foot cord for and I'll cut this down obviously to whatever size I need, but it's got the proper connector on the end of it for powering my little mini computer. So now let's see. Here's the moment of truth. Let me get a drone battery. Moment of truth, moment of truth. Okay. This is probably bigger than I need walking around, but I use this for my drone. This is a Foxtech. It's a 22. It's really like it's a lithium battery, but it's really like 24 volts. It's 9,500 milliamp hours. So that's a lot of power. Now I can probably use a much smaller battery walking around, but this thing isn't too bad. It's a couple pounds. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's not that bad. It's not horrible if I needed to have this hanging on my belt. It's not. In fact, I could actually weigh it. I think I have a scale right here somewhere. I got a scale. Hold on, let me get a scale. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so it's 800 and some grams. It's 1 pound, 14 ounces. I said a couple pounds, so it's not even a couple pounds. It's not bad. Put this over here. All right, moment of truth, man. Ready? Ready? I feel like I'm scared. I'm actually kind of scared a little bit. I'm gonna plug this thing in and hopefully it's not gonna blow up. Okay. It's not warm or anything. Where's my meter? Let's see what kind of volts we get out. Where's my meter? Where's my meter? All right, so we want this on volts. Let's put this over here. Let's put the voltmeter over here. So plus should be the center, and then, and I got tape sticking to everything. Hold on. Try not to make a mess here. All right, let's put the plus in the center because that's where it needs to be. And then 12 volts. 12 volts out, 12 volts regulated. That's pretty neat. So then let's measure our drone battery voltage. Got plus, and it should be like 23. I gotta go up to the next thing here. All right. Yeah, there we go, 24.1 volts. We're at, yeah, 24. Can you see that? Is that? I don't know if you can see the, yeah, the reflection. Let me see if I can get rid of. There we go, that's better. So drone battery, 20. Okay, so drone battery is 24 volts. Okay. Let's plug in our thing again, because I don't know if you could see that with the reflection all fucked up. So now we got to go down to our 20 volt range and go to the thing. So we go here, whoops, go here, and 12 volts, man. Mamfi, hi Rob. Hi, how are you? I've been building crazy mad scientist stuff. Are you still here in the chat? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. I've been building crazy stuff here. I've been soldering. I've been doing all kinds of crazy stuff here in my stream. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so glad to see you. Really, I'm so glad to see you in my chat. This is super awesome. So I just built a really cool thing. So I'll just I don't know if you saw me talk about it. So what we did is I have a battery pack here, and this battery pack is going into this little voltage regulator here, and we put this together on my stream tonight, and I soldered all the wires up and everything, and then this this cable here will plug into this will power the mini computer that will go on my my IRL cam, so that I can go and run around in the real world and power the little computer and all the stuff that goes with it. So that's what yes, so that's the whole point, is to make something that's small enough to carry around with me, because obviously I'm going to be walking around and carrying my camera by itself is pretty heavy. So I'm going to have this battery. I just weighed it. It weighs like a little over a pound. So this will be maybe hanging on my belt. Maybe I'll get one of those like tool belt things like construction guys have, and instead of like hammers and stuff, I'll just put the battery pack in it, and then I don't know, and then I'm going to be carrying my camera and stuff around. But how far along are you? Well, I'm actually, this live stream is actually from my IRL cam. But it's still plugged into regular power that's plugged into the wall. So this is tonight, making this little battery powered thing. This was one of the last steps I needed to get this thing actually working. There is one more piece of the puzzle, and that is I need to go down to T-Mobile and get one of those little USB things that plugs into your laptop, so you can get mobile Wi-Fi anywhere. And so I need to get one of those, and so I can have my own little hotspot, and then do that. Now, see the white box in the bottom left corner of my screen? That is Windows Task Manager, because I'm keeping track of my CPU usage as I'm streaming, and it's a little high. It's a little bit high. I would really like it lower, but I'm also running the chat in a browser at the same time I'm running OBS. So I can actually switch to, hold on, I can switch to my desktop view, because that's kind of interesting. Let's go to the desktop view. So so now you're looking at, this is my desktop of my little computer. And so you can actually, hi, by the way, hi. So this is this is actually OBS running in this tiny little computer, and I have my chat over here, which you can't see it in the thing right now because I have it off to the side. But anyway, that's this whole live stream is coming from my IRL cam. I have the camera that is showing you this picture is my DSLR. So that is my Nikon DSLR, and then I have another webcam that is that one, and that's just on a stand on the other side of my kitchen counter, and that's also plugged into this little tiny mini computer. And so this battery pack should power everything. Obviously I haven't tested it because I just built it tonight, so I haven't actually plugged it into the IRL cam to see if it's going to work, but I'll do that tomorrow or something. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. It has the power! Yes, hopefully. And it's not getting hot. It's not even warm. So that's pretty cool. Now obviously I'm gonna have to do some tests. I have, so in my hat, whoops, where is it? In my hat is a little microphone, and then up in here is a piece of styrofoam with a little transmitter for my wireless mic. And that goes to that goes to the camera. The other wireless transmitter is here over on my camera. Those just use 2 AA batteries, and I did a test where the wireless mic batteries will last up to 6 hours. So I'm not worried about that. I'm certainly not going to be walking around for more than like a couple hours live streaming. So the wireless mic is no problem. So that's got at least a 6-hour battery life. The camera has maybe a 3-hour battery life, but I can just pop another battery in the camera. That's not a big deal. The main thing that's going to use power is the monitor, the little touchscreen monitor that's right here, and the computer. The computer, because the computer is powering all the USB devices. The computer is powering the capture card for my DSLR. It's powering the other webcam. It's powering the display, and it's using its own power, obviously. So that's going to be the main subpar player. There's a microphone in your friggin' hat? Yes, yes. I have a little tiny microphone right here, and that's going around the back of my hat, and then inside my hat is a piece of styrofoam that has a cutout, and so that it doesn't, I didn't want it sitting on my head. So so I have a little piece of styrofoam in the top of the hat that holds the transmitter for the wireless mic. So I don't have any wires on me. There's no wires on me. I didn't want that. So yeah. So yes, I'll be wearing this hat when I go out in the real world, roaming around with my camera. I will definitely be wearing this hat. So that's going to be part of it. And I'll probably wear my whole. I have a vest. I have the whole like steampunk outfit. So I'll be definitely cosplaying steampunk as I'm doing live streams. So that should be fun as well. But yeah. So I can't read the, yes, I have to go, but I hope you have a great day. Manfi, thanks again for coming in the chat. I'm so happy you came in and saw a little piece of this. By the way, if you check your Discord messages, I have some additional info for you for your little graphic frames I made for you. Hopefully you can get those working. I'd love to see those working for you. But anyway, yes, thanks again for coming in. I'm probably going to end my stream in a few minutes anyway, because I pretty much accomplished what I wanted to do tonight. I'm super happy that this thing works, and it's not overheating. It seems to be putting out the proper voltage. I still have to test it with the little mini computer, but I can't do that now because I'm using it to stream. So this is the IRL cam. This is the cam. It's on a tripod. But it's got a touch screen, and the touch screen rotates. And it tilts. So, and in my last stream, I made this custom bracket. I made this carbon fiber bracket in one of my previous streams. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. Oh, I didn't do my transition. Let's do that again. Here we go. Let's do that again. So I can. Zoom in on the thing. focus on it. And I can do camera zoom as well, which is kind of cool. I can zoom out. So that's pretty much it. Let's tilt this up out of the way and turn this a little bit. Well, I guess that doesn't matter too much. Well, I think I'm going to raid Manfi, because that would be fun. And everyone have a great night. Gonna go raid Manfi, and I'll talk to you all soon. Gonna be doing more of this project and building the IRL CAM. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Come along with me to the raid or whatever you want to do, and I'll talk to you soon.